And for good reason. We have not only champions of the past, world champions of the past, we have world champions of the present. Chris Shields in the building.
On December 14th, New York erupted as Jake Paul and Andrew Tate crossed paths unexpectedly. Tensions between the two had been building for months, and Jake couldn't resist throwing absurd insults at Andrew. Chaos ensued, just as Andrew had predicted. Jake's confrontation ignited a wild scene on the streets, turning the moment into pure madness. It was a clash years in the making, and Jake, as expected, couldn't escape the fallout.
It's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters who would
Jake Paul has built his career by poking the bear, whether it's challenging combat sports legends like Mike Tyson or cherry-picking opponents to maintain his undefeated streak. But on December 14th, things were different. That wasn't just another call-out. Andrew Tate, with his $710 million fortune and four-time kickboxing world champion status, stepped up to Jake in the middle of a busy street. It was clear Tate had something to prove, and he wasn't backing down from the confrontation.
If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy, entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate. Google it if you want to know more. Any day, anytime, let's...
For those living under a rock, Andrew Tate isn't someone who does things halfway. This wasn't just a casual meetup or a quick jab on Twitter. Tate approached Jake Paul in the middle of a busy street, surrounded by fans armed with smartphones, ready to capture every second of what can only be described as a public reality check. Jake's usual bravado took a back seat, and if his confidence had a volume knob, Tate turned it all the way down, leaving Jake in a rare, uncomfortable position.
Come on, work. Let's go. Work. Come on, Marcus. Keep going. Work! Speed. Come on, fight. Make it. Hey. 15 seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk, Steve. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, work. 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 Good. Work. 10 seconds. Work.
Jake Paul thrives on confidence. It's his brand. Whether trash-talking opponents or flexing for his 20 million followers, his confidence sells fights and keeps his empire running. But in that moment, it vanished. Andrew Tate wasn't some random guy Jake could dismiss with a snarky comment or a hand-picked opponent his team carefully lined up. No, this was Andrew Tate. Four-time kickboxing world champion with a presence that demanded respect, and Jake couldn't ignore it.
Yeah, he'll never do that, though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And two,
he's not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might
and it's funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never box.
You could see it in Jake's body language. Tate didn't need to yell or throw a punch. His towering presence and calm composure spoke volumes. Jake, usually quick to confront, looked completely out of his element. It's telling when the guy famous for his loud mouth and snappy comebacks has nothing to say. Clearly rattled by Tate's sheer confidence.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickboxer.
This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. Tate's confrontation with Jake had been building for months. Jake Paul made his name by calling out legends, most of whom were well past their prime, while avoiding real threats. Tate, a dedicated combat sports veteran, saw right through it. Watching Jake cherry-pick opponents must have been infuriating. Calling Tate a washed-up fighter, that was the final straw, sparking the confrontation that had been long overdue.
So when you see some of these crossover fights, obviously I know that you and Jake Paul have had your disagreements. Do you think that Jake's gotten better as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Tate didn't approach Jake for clout. Let's be honest. He didn't need it. It wasn't about money either, as Tate's bank account is already stacked. What he wanted was simple. to make a statement. Respect in combat sports isn't about followers or loud trash talk. It's about proving yourself against real competition, something Jake has consistently avoided. Tate wasn't there to play games. He was there to remind Jake what true respect looks like in the world of combat sports. December 14th started as just another day until it wasn't. On a crowded street, surrounded by fans and onlookers, Andrew Tate made his move. Phones were out, cameras rolling, and within minutes, footage flooded social media. Hashtags began trending. Tate, take Paul exposed. Respect the game.
Two brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know the kind of men we are.
If you think this was all for show, think again. This wasn't a staged event orchestrated by PR teams for engagement. This tension was real. You could see it in Jake's attempt and failure to regain his composure. His usual tactics, sarcastic remarks, forced laughter, and that signature smirk, weren't working. This wasn't a roast battle or promotional stunt. It was Andrew Tate delivering a very real message in a very public way, making it clear that respect in combat sports can't be faked.
That's delusion. I'm sorry.
Beef.
Look, Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker, strong mentality. I'm sorry, Tristan Tate is the weak link.
I say let's
He got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
A MMA double tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a fight on your hands.
That would go crazy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, seriously.
I'm
let's
about
do
the
it.
action. Like I'm less talk now. Let's just fucking go.
Yo, but you know for a fact, me and Jake will travel to Romania.
There you go.
We will make this happen. We'll do it wherever you want, whatever conditions you want.
Jake Paul's entire persona is built on being untouchable, the underdog who proves his doubters wrong. But when Andrew Tate stood in front of him, all that bravado disappeared. The confidence that had defined Jake's career vanished in an instant, leaving him exposed in a way we've never seen.
Why don't you lose to an old man who's retired? I live in the real fucking world, Jake. There's a whole bunch of fighters out here who live in the real fucking world. Men who are dangerous and dedicated their lives to this sport and don't have a fucking fraction of the money you have because you've managed to become a fucking clown.
Tate didn't need to do much. His sheer presence was enough. With his towering physique and years of experience as a kickboxing world champion, Tate didn't need to shout or posture. Jake, on the other hand, was visibly shaken. He tried to clap back, of course, because that's what Jake Paul does, but this time his words fell flat. This wasn't a game he could talk his way out of. Once the footage hit the internet, it was game over for Jake's ego. Within hours, memes flooded Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Jake's attempt to save face was no match for the internet's collective creativity. From comparisons to a kid getting scolded by their dad to outright mockery of his brave persona, social media had a field day. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate's fan base grew overnight. Even people who weren't diehard fans of Tate couldn't help but respect the move. It was clear Jake's bravado had met its match.
Stop fighting! Hey, fight! Hey, fight! Hey, work! Hey, work! Hey, work! Hey, work! Hey, work! Work! Hey, work! Hey, work! Hey, keep going. Come on, work. Go, work. Come on, Marshall, keep going. Work! Come on, fight! Make it. Come on, 20 seconds to walk, Steve. Let's go, let's go, let's go!
The debate raged on. Was Tate right for calling Jake out so publicly, or was it just another clash for attention? Regardless of which side you were on, one thing was clear. This wasn't going to blow over anytime soon. The tension was far from resolved.
You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you.
This wasn't just a confrontation between two individuals. It was a clash of ideologies. Jake Paul represents the new era of combat sports where clout often outweighs skill. His fights are more about creating viral moments than proving himself as a boxer. Andrew Tate, on the other hand, comes from an old-school mindset where respect is earned in the ring, not on social media. Their clash was a collision of two very different worlds.
The best boxer on the planet is?
Jake Paul.
Why?
I mean, who's doing it?
I mean, if Mike Tyson says, let's do this, are you down?
100%.
I'm gonna make Mike my girlfriend.
Would you fight Mike Tyson?
Again, no, because he's now old, and I would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in the boxing match. So to be in these past prime feels dishonorable, and I feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount of money on the planet that could convince me to fight.
In the days following the confrontation, the internet buzzed with speculation. Fans wondered if Jake would step into the ring with Tate or continue dodging real competition. The media fueled the fire, running headlines like Andrew Tate humiliates Jake Paul and the showdown that could change combat sports forever. The debate intensified with everyone waiting for the next move.
I'm known as a fighter in a way that he never will be. I'm known as a fighter in the way that if you throw me in a cell with a murderer, a rapist, and 2 drug dealers, people look at me and go, okay, respect. He would have left with a higher male body count than his fiancée. That's how he would have left.
This wasn't just a confrontation between two individuals. It was a clash of ideologies. Jake Paul represents the new era of combat sports where clout often outweighs skill. His fights are more about creating viral moments than proving himself as a boxer. Andrew Tate, on the other hand, comes from an old-school mindset where respect is earned in the ring, not on social media. Their clash was a collision of two very different worlds.
Jake Paul can fight. It's not like Jake Paul can't fight.
Yeah.
Jake Paul just won't fight anybody.
For Jake, the fallout was brutal. His image took a hit, and his critics grew louder than ever. For Tate, it was a win, both in terms of respect and exposure. He didn't just call Jake out, he backed up everything he'd been saying about respect and authenticity in combat sports.
Somebody like me, he'd mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my fight.
The big question now is what's next for Jake Paul and Andrew Tate? Fans are already clamoring for a sanctioned fight, and the internet is buzzing with predictions about how it would play out. Some believe Jake doesn't stand a chance against Tate's experience and skill, while others argue Jake's youth and determination could give him the edge. One thing is certain, this rivalry is far from over. Whether it leads to a fight in the ring or just more drama on social media, the world will be watching. For now, all we can do is wait and see how Jake responds. Will he rise to the challenge, or will he continue to play it safe and avoid real competition?
2 brothers, 1 cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beef.
This confrontation wasn't a one-off. It was a wake-up call for Jake Paul. A harsh reminder that respect can't be earned through trash talk alone. Andrew Tate made his point loud and clear. You can have all the clout in the world, but without respect, it means nothing.
Pressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out.
For fans, this was more than just entertainment. It was a glimpse into the growing tension between traditional combat sports and the new age of internet-driven spectacles. For Jake, it might have been the reality check he didn't even know he needed.